started, and we have this practice of somebody, one of the members praying, and my daughter made a prayer, and my mom was helping her, correcting her prayer. And then she said, I have seen you doing this from a very early age. And then she said, yeah, I know, I've been praying like this all these years. You know, we are human beings, and our prayers are dependent on our vocabulary, our English, our Hindi, our Malayalam, you know, the language capacity that we have gathered. But does Jesus need any help? Is Jesus by any means lacking in understanding on how to communicate to his Father? Is Jesus needing any help? But look at the prayer that Jesus is making. Look at that prayer again. Look at it. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who believe in me through their message, that all of them be one. That all of them be one, Father, that just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The very identity of Jesus, you know, coming, or who he was being put at stake if that oneness was not for which he was calling us for. And his whole intention was to, you know, bring us back to one state. Look at the, to give a topic to today's message, I would say today's message is to emphasize that relationship matters to God. The relationships are very important. And I think it is part 2 to my last sermon that I gave on interdependence. So, relationships matter to God. Can you repeat after me? Relationships matter to God. Relationships matter to God. Okay? So, God is relational. Many believers, when they are asked, what is your religion? Many practicing believers, when you are asked, what religion do you follow? Very common expression that we have is, I don't practice any religion. I have a relationship with God. If you guys are not doing it, please do it, okay? That's the right Christian way of doing it. The trick that we learn. But the fact is, that's the truth. But then we need to also believe what we are saying, and we have to act according to that. So you are not, I was a Hindu, so now I am a Christian. It doesn't make any difference. I am in a relationship. I am in a relationship with God, the Almighty. And that is what is going to challenge people to sit up and want to hear what you want to say. If you say, I am just a Christian, the other day we were excited in Mizoram, the government was being sworn in, and they were saying hymns were going to be sung, and Bible is going to be read, and that's good, fantastic, that's a great thing to be happy about. But if you would have read the caption in the newspaper, it says, Mizo government to be sworn in after Christian rituals. So we were excited about what was happening, but we were also missing the way the world might look at it. So you can be very ritualistic Christian. You can be a very ritualistic religion, a religious Christian community. We can be. But we don't like to be identified like that. I don't like to be identified. You don't like to be. We like to be identified as people who have a relationship with Christ, and therefore we are ambassadors of Christ, therefore we smell of Christ, therefore everything about us is about Christ, because it's a relationship that we are in. A relationship that we are in. So, God is relational. And you look at the, the origin of the story of creation. What do you see there? God created man in His own image and likeness. His own image and likeness. Why did He create man in His own image and likeness? Because it was much more deeper. It was much more, what is it? An expression of relationship. It was much deeper. Because here God was creating man for a greater purpose, to fulfill what He had in His mind for man. And what did God give man? God gave man a family. Yes or no? Swati, you were happy about 2018 because God gave you had a family, but then God gave you your family, your husband. Yes or no? God gave us a family. God gave man a family. You see, now can you build a family without relationship? Can you build a family without relationship? You can't. You can't build a family without relationship. We have a working understanding. We are, it's all, okay. That's what a great question. Family is a gift of God. How do you know that? Bible says children are a gift. Bible says that. God's gift. He who finds a wife finds favor. Some of you are waiting for favor, I know that. But he who finds a wife or a husband finds favor. Favor. It is God's provision and plan for man to experience a relationship. Please understand, it's not just like that. In the North Indian belt, we keep hearing this. Ladka bahut bigda hua hai, shaadi kara do, theek ho jayega. So many of them think the remedy to put sense in naughty boys is to get them married. It doesn't work. Marriage is not for just for that sake. My mom is laughing because she did that. God is relational. Everything about Him is relational. Relationship is very, very, very important for Him. And He put us in a family. And why did He put us in a family? Just look at, I know there could be exceptions of maybe not so happy homes and not so happy experience. I do understand. In the real world, all homes are not so great in the sense of experiences, and I can't even understand that, maybe because I have personally not gone through those extremes, and my heart goes out for those people. But predominantly, God created the family for a relational richness, relational effectiveness. Isn't it in the family that you learn everything? The other day, I was just thinking about the things that you learn in a family. Where do you learn kindness, forgiveness, care? Where do you learn all these things? Where do you learn patience? Where do you learn? Where do you learn? Malik uncle laughed, when I said patience, because he's a man married for how many years? Uncle, how many? 48, I'm still counting. Patience. Marriage teaches you patience. Yes or no, uncle? Yes. See? It's teaching me patience, teaching my wife patience, teaching everybody patience, teaching Vasudha patience, teaching Neeraj patience. Everybody is learning patience. Children, what all you learn with children? Amazing lessons that you learn with them. Among siblings, what all things do you learn among siblings? What all do you learn among siblings? It's so amazing. The other day we were saying that, man is corrupt. Man, he's so messed up that he can't even differentiate. It's not the truth. He knows. It's not that he's lusting after every woman that he sees. He grows up in a home where he has a mother, he has a sister. He knows how to react, how to deal with the opposite. It's not that every opposite sex he gets excited by. He knows. Isn't it? Doesn't he know that? How to deal with his sister, how to deal with his mother. He knows that. There could be weird, odd guys here and there. I'm not talking about them. But you know. So, all you drawing boundaries, knowing how far you can go, how much you should be, considerate about, everything you learn in a relational context in your own home, in the family. You learn it. Good or bad, you learn a lot of things inside the house that you grow up. Family is an amazing tool of God. And when I look at it, I think this is the same family that He purposes to engage, to redeem, and to reconcile man. When he was calling Abraham, he made an open statement. Yes or no? You read that in Genesis chapter 12. He said, I will make you a blessing. And through you will the nations be blessed. He said, made that statement. He was picking up a man, a family, after the fall, to start a new engagement to redeem the mankind. So his family predominantly was so important in the heart of God that he consistently looks at them and says, these are the platforms or the institutions through which I am going to redeem my people. Now, as the redeemed of the Lord, as a community, as the body of Christ, the church, we have a huge mandate. We have a very huge mandate. Because our eyes are open, our hearts are open, we know this truth better than many others outside. We know this. So the mandate is very, very heavy and huge. The mandate is to understand the sanctity and the importance of relationships in all spheres of our life and respond to it accordingly. Relationship समझना है तो एक मसीह से मिलो. What is relationship? Get in touch with a believer. Find a believer. He will tell you, this guy is ये believer है. इसका relationship देखो, the sanctity, the respect, the reverence, the commitment, what do you call, determination, build a relationship can only come from a follower of Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. You agree with me or not? You're with me till now? Yes? Relationship is very, very important. And then I also want to say this, if we are really believing the gospel, this book which is our Aadhar, everything is fundamentally based on this. And if we believe in this, we need to understand, if you believe the stories that we read in this, and if they are not, if you really want to show to the world that these are not just stories, then you have to act. We have one Father. If you have one Father, you naturally become what? Brothers and sisters. Do you understand that no other faith, no other philosophy, no other worldview presents this? You tell me one worldview which presents this, which says we have one Father, therefore we are brothers and sisters. One Father. One Father. We are brothers and sisters. We are not just, random people, random creation. We are very beautifully created. Remember this, please, if you write down. The mandate is huge. The mandate is huge. The sanctity and responsibility is unbelievable. You cannot refuse to recognize that we have one Father, and therefore we are brothers. समझिए बात. In this world, with so much of pain, so much of heartache, so much of differences, so much of selfishness, the understanding that we have one Father makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. Now, do not bring down the quality of this by imagining that this is only for we believers. Don't do that mistake. Don't do that mistake. Those are in and those are out. All have been created in the likeness and image of God. All have been created in the likeness and image of God. So today you see a world which has trouble, there is conflict, there is war, there is atrocities going on. These are all consequences of man not recognizing that he is fighting against his own system. I want to, read few verses for us to just maybe conclude that this is not a philosophy that coming from Titus, Koshy. This is from the Bible. Huh? We read it from the Bible. Please, you are all practicing Christians who believe in the Bible and who practice it. So go work on this in every area of your life. I'll tell you, look at the quality of our life. In your life, I look at my life. Okay? The richness, the satisfaction, the fulfillment, everything has to do with how we are relating with each other and the world around us. It has to do with that. And now, if you and I are of the opinion that no, the world does not matter, it's only my relationship with God that matters, you're missing the point again. You're missing the point again. I will confirm it through the word. We're missing the point again. So we need to work with what God has given to us. We need to work with what God has given to us. Ecclesiastes 4 says, no need to go there. Two are better than one. It's always good to go together. Go as one. John chapter 17. Please turn with me to John chapter 17. This I must have read multiple times, but I don't know why I only saw this time. And sometimes you see things only when you approach with an intention to see. Sometimes you bypass it. John chapter 17, this is how it reads. Verse 20. No, this one. Sorry, I missed it. Verse 20. We read this verse just now, right? We read, my prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those. I read this just now. For those who believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. This is as far as I read. Now I'm going to read the next verse. He says, I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. Why was the glory given? Why was the glory given from this scripture? What do you understand? I have given them the glory that you gave me. English? So that why did God give you the glory? So that we may be one. He gave the glory that he received from his Father to us, so that how many of us are craving for God's glory? How many of us want his glory? How many of us come for worship to experience the presence of God and the glory of God? And now do you understand why is he giving the glory? Why he is sharing the glory with us? That oneness. Oneness. Everything is working to break this oneness. Everything around you is breaking, working overtime to destroy the oneness. Marriages, one of the first institution and one of the most revered institution that God had created. How are people treating marriage? How are people treating marriage? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Some of them stay together for 60 years, 70 years. And you go and ask them about the quality of their 60, 70 years. You will be shocked. How did they live together for 60, 70 years? And how people are just giving up on each other, just for the heck of it. No reason. No reason. पहले पहले तो बहुत बड़े बड़े रीजंस चाहिए होते थे. अभी no reasons. Everything is, working against that oneness. Everything, every institution is at risk because there is a crisis. There is no oneness. Businesses are collapsing because there is no oneness. Nations are collapsing because there is no oneness. People are working on dividing to gain power. They are on all angles. Till hundreds of years, nobody wanted to go to a temple in Kerala. Now everybody wants to go to that temple. All the ladies in India want to go to that temple. You know why? And then there are people who want to send people there, as if their goal in their life is to send people there. No, the whole objective is to divide the country, divide the nation. Triple talaq, oh my God, such a big problem that they have resolved. The intention is not the well-being of poor woman there. It's more of creating more confusion. Everybody, that's the strategy. Everybody is using it. कैसे किसको ट्रिप करें, कैसे किसको बर्बाद करें, कैसे किसको शॉर्ट करें, and then अपनी गाड़ी आगे बढ़ाएं. Okay? Oneness is absolutely at risk. And this morning I want to tell all of you, in your own respective lives, in your own respective areas that you are placed in, be very careful of what is affecting your oneness. Do not allow the enemy a foothold. You give him a small needle space. You give him a small needle space, he will take full charge. So don't play with fire. Don't play with fire. Anything that affects oneness, you need to address it with reverence and with priority and deal with it. And ensure that you work, because this is the glory of God. So now as a believer, if your marriage, you're not able to recover your marriage, I would say there is a deficiency of glory of God, experience of glory of God in your life. Glory of God is there, but you're not able to experience it. You go. Do whatever you want, and you can resolve and reconcile. A relationship with the children, I see unbelievably now, more and more. Parents are giving up on children, children are giving up on parents. That is not right. That is just not right. That is absolutely not correct. 2018 has taught me another angle of relationship that I always had. For 24 years, my boy was in my house. He didn't go out anywhere to study or... After 24 years, a 24-year-old man is old enough to be out of his house. When he leaves the house, it's like, for me, it's like I lost something. And I'm like imagining how, at least I have hope. I traveled for a few hours and I was with him for a few days. Imagine people who lose due to death or something unbelievable. What kind of a loss is this? Now, the value of relationship, I was hearing yesterday that your mom called up, and I know that your mom regularly calls you. You're not a small kid, baby, who needs to be called by the mom every day. But just imagine, the joy, the satisfaction, the comfort. I wrote to my son, I said, I need to hear your voice once in a day. It could be just, hello, how are you? I'm fine, I'm good. Time me in a bus. Okay, that is enough for me. He just needs to pick up the phone and say, Dad, no time today. Well, I just want to hear his voice. But at the same time, I will have to program myself, because very soon he will have other priorities. Otherwise, I'll go into depression. But do you see the emphasis on relationship? Relationship. Now, if your relationship in your own home and your family is qualitatively functional, it will be evidently functional in the larger body, in the larger platform that God places you in. And that will be a testimony, a witness for many out there to know that you are His disciples. This is again not my words, it is there in the Bible somewhere. 1 John chapter 4, verse 20-21 says, what does it say? Anybody knows what that verse is? If you cannot love a brother whom you can see, how does it say? Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God. Can you love God? Do you love God? Then love your brother, love your sister. If you don't love your brother for whatever reason, if you don't love your sister for whatever reason, then there is a problem with you loving God. You said, Bhaiya, dekho, udhar hate word hai. I don't hate it. I love, mera love, but hate nahi karta main. So you get into a thesis on understanding what is hate and what is it. The fact is, if you know God, Jesus himself, in Hebrew chapter 2, Hebrew chapter 2, verse 11 and 12, he says, both the one who makes people holy and those who are made holy are of the same. One who makes holy and who are being made holy are from the same family. And because we are from the same family, who are we? What does it say? So Jesus is not ashamed to call them brothers and sisters. So in that case, if he is the one who made efforts to make us holy, he is introducing himself to us as our brother. Next verse. Jesus is not ashamed to call them brothers and sisters. Next verse says, I will declare your name to my brothers and sisters. In the assembly, I will sing your praises. He's calling you a sister. Jesus is calling you sister. Do you know that, sister Grace? Do you know that? He's your brother. He's my brother. Yeah, one of the things that I hate in the Christian community is, hello brother. Everybody is a brother. Hello sister. Hello brother. I sometimes wonder, do they understand the weightage of the word brother? समझते हैं brother क्या होता है, भाई क्या होता है? ऐसी brother तकिया कलाम हो गया, कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, there's zero value. You need time, call Chris. Don't call him brother. But if you call him brother, then you mean that you are his brother. Take time. Time ले लो, कोई जल्दी नहीं. Ritualistically मत करो यार. Religiously, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. Okay, fine. Mean it. Effectively mean it. He is my brother. He is my sister. Mean it. Mean करो. So when you start meaning it, एक तो अपना immediate भाई बहन, फिर हमारा relationship बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा, फिर हमारा larger body में अच्छा हो जाएगा, फिर हम जब बाहर निकलेंगे, when we get out, when we get out of this place, when we will get out and on a car and somebody will come, that's a brother going. You're waiting for parking, and a car, somebody will come, oh, there's just now a brother parked this car. See, I'm just telling it, that's how when we develop the ability to see each other as brother and sister, that is the only way the world will have good days. Otherwise, it is ridiculous. In fact, TV, earlier all the Pentecostal preachers would say, don't watch TV. Now I think they are right. Don't watch TV, especially news, never watch. And some channels never watch. Your language will change. The way you talk will change. The way you interrupt people will change. Everything will go wrong. Narratives have changed. Everything. Communication is gone for a toss. It won't be surprising. One day somebody will shoot somebody on camera in the studios. I think during the Padmavat time, somebody took out a sword also. During a news. He took out a sword. Rajput, he took out a sword. On camera. Ye hoga. Brother, my brother, my sister, my brother, my sister, my brother, my sister, my brother, my sister, my brother, my sister. Please understand and commit yourselves to allow the Holy Spirit to teach you the weightage of this relational platform on which He has placed us. He has positioned us so that we understand that we are just not accidents, that we are together, or we are met, or we engage, or we talk, or we communicate, or we work together. Office may be, or politics, competition. Don't. So that is surely going to help us, and we will do better as we commit ourselves. John chapter 13, one more verse and then maybe we'll close. John chapter 13, verse 34 to 35. John chapter 13, verse 34 to 35. Now this is something that I want you guys to think about. Take out Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 also, please. Keep a hand finger on Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. I'm sure we are not people who just are dwelling on the New Testament and think that the Old Testament is redundant and useless. There is a huge connect between the whole books. So read with me John chapter 13, verse 34 to 35. 34, he says, a new command. Okay, I'll read it for you, then later we'll read it together. A new command I give you. Love one. Okay, so this is not the verse. Okay, a new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciple if you love one another. In other words, when you love one another, the glory of God will be evidently present in your midst. It will be seen by people. And when people will see it, they will know that you are the disciples of the Lord Jesus Christ. Today, if you have to make extra efforts to let people know that you are a disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ, then there is something wrong. If your lifestyle, if your work style, if your communication style, if your, the way you express yourself, the way you make yourself available for people, if all those transactions do not by any chance show people that you are a child of God, then there is a problem. Okay. Come, please turn to Matthew chapter 22. That's the verse. Matthew chapter 22. Verse Matthew 22, 34. So, verse 33, the background is Jesus, when the crowds heard this, they were astonished at his teaching. There was a large crowd which is very impressed by Jesus' teaching. Pharisees are there, Sadducees are there, teachers of the law are there. And he has impressed a lot of people. Who? Jesus. hearing that Jesus had silenced these Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. And one of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question: Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? So Jesus replies, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul and with all your mind. Do you remember reading this somewhere in the Old Testament? Did we read it? Where did we read it? Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Now you look at, is there a variant? What is the difference in Deuteronomy chapter 6, 4 and Matthew 13, Matthew 22? He doesn't stop there. He says, this is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it, likewise, like it. What is it? Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So now we're going to take this two verses, go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. Now together we're going to read. Okay? Verse 4 says, Hear, O Israel, everybody read together with me. Hear, O Israel, Lord your God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength, and likewise, because we are going to put the Matthew thing here, says likewise, what do? Love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? And then what does he say? Impress them on your children. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home. When you walk along the road. When you lie down. Tie them as a symbols on your hand. Tie them as a symbols on your hand. And bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and your gates. In other words, never forget. Never forget this. Never forget this. So next time you're facing a difficult person, next time you have a difficult situation because somebody is not being fair or doing the right thing, apply. 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 I'm not saying that allow somebody to play tabla on your head or use you as a punching bag. I'm not saying all that. Don't go and do all this to the things. God will give you grace and wisdom how to handle that situation. But in your heart and your mind, do not refuse to recognize that he or she, your spouse or your son or your church member or your pastor or your neighbor or your adjacent church pastor or your city member or a mayor or a, just remind yourself and ask God to give you grace. Abraham had two sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Today, if you and I are asked to give a opinion on the Arab world, what the ISIS is doing or what the Arab world is all up to, if we are not on our guard, the probability of us actually being very offensively upset with the whole clan is very high. We may not want to have anything to do with it. It can be very aggressive. They're beheading people who believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. They're doing a lot of atrocities there. But we forget that they both have one Father. One Father. One Father. And the both worlds will have to recognize that Father for peace to come on earth. Both worlds, and the time is coming. And the time will come. The time will come. You and I are placed here on earth, planet earth, to be a witness for the world who has no understanding about this. I'm again and again telling you, in your lives, in your midst, may the Lord help you to go beyond the call of duty, beyond your own philosophies, beyond your own limitations, to recognize and identify this and commit yourself to go and be the one who stretches that hand and extends that hand and, have somebody reconcile with God. Commit yourself. Understand. It's not a casual journey that we are on. This is a very responsible journey. Do you remember in Genesis, the question that God is asking Cain? Cain, where is your brother? 2018 in ending. So the Holy Spirit asking us, where is your brother? The lives and people that are connected with you, in your workplaces, in your neighborhood, in your family, in your society, in your church.